John, did you see that news this morning? That new pair of AI glasses that translates everything right in front of your eyes? Honestly, seeing that gave me a tiny panic moment, but the energetic kind. It feels like in 2026, we're all passengers on a high-speed train moving so fast that if we blink for even a second, we'll be left behind forever. Do you ever feel that way?
Not at all, Maria. Well, actually, wait, let me rephrase that. Yes, I do. The technology is incredibly quick, but do we really need to sprint after every single trend? To be perfectly honest, when I tried to use that new holographic meeting software last week, I felt like a 5-year-old kid all over again. I couldn't even figure out how to turn on the microphone. I just sat there in total silence, feeling like I didn't even exist in that digital space.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. That is exactly the feeling we want to talk about today. Feeling left behind. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Speak Unstoppable, the podcast. If you feel like the world's English and technology have zoomed past you while you're still standing exactly where you were 2 years ago, please know that you are not alone. Today's session is specifically for you to help lighten that heavy burden you're carrying. But before we dive deeper into this fascinating discussion, let me introduce ourselves. I'm Maria, and joining me is my wonderful friend and co-host, Joun. We want to give a massive welcome to everyone tuning in to the English Leap podcast. If this is your first time here, we are so happy to have you. We believe that learning English shouldn't be a chore. It should be a beautiful, exciting journey.
Exactly. I'm John, and our mission is to give you the confidence to speak English anywhere in the world without that nagging fear of judgment. If you're enjoying this vibe so far, why not join our growing family? Just hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring new ways to improve together every single week. Now, I know what you must be thinking. John, it's easy for you to talk. You don't know how it feels when we have to explain a complex new technology in English. But believe me, the first time I stepped into this ultra-modern digital environment, I failed miserably. I spent 2 whole hours writing one simple email because I was terrified I was using old-fashioned vocabulary. I felt so outdated.
That is the perfectionism trap, John. We all get stuck in it. I have a student, Sarah, who told me she skipped her office party last week. Why? Because she was scared everyone would be talking about the latest tech trends in fluent English and she would look like a ghost from the past. She literally locked herself in her room. It's heartbreaking to hear that, isn't it?
It really is. But here is the vital point we need to understand. Hey bro, let's explain this in simple language. Being in 2026 doesn't mean you have to know every new buzzword. It's about the courage to show up. By the way, what city are you watching us from? Or maybe you're listening while driving or doing chores? Let us know in the comments. We truly love connecting with you all.
Absolutely. And honestly, this overthinking we do is our biggest enemy. We worry that if we use a basic word instead of something like neural interface, people will laugh at us. But the truth is, the person across from you just wants to connect. John, tell them what you did with that smart coffee machine the other day.
Oh man, that was embarrassing. I was at this cafe where there were no waiters, just a robotic arm. I was trying to give it an English command, but I froze. I couldn't remember the word for espresso. I just blurted out, "Give me black water!" The robot just stopped moving. I was so ashamed, I practically ran out of the shop. I thought, I am clearly not fit for this modern world.
Black water? John, that is hilarious. But look at you now. You're laughing about it. That is our message. Make mistakes, laugh, and keep moving. At the end of this video, we're going to share a specific technique that will help you feel confident in any modern conversation, even if you know nothing about the topic. So stay with us.
Definitely. And I think you should give your opinion in the comments. Has there ever been a moment where a new gadget or a fast conversation made you go completely silent? Sharing your stories helps us all feel a bit more human.
So, the first step today is to drop the fear that you're behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Together, we'll learn how to carve out your own space in this fast paced world.
Well said, Maria. If you want to learn this too, just stay tuned. We're going to share the tools that come from real life, not just boring textbooks.
You know, John, after that black water incident, I realized something important. We often feel left behind because we think everyone else has a secret manual for 2026 that we somehow missed. We see people using terms like decentralized living or synthetic media so casually, and we just nod our heads while screaming internally, "What does that even mean?"
Exactly! It's like everyone is playing a game with a set of rules that changes every single hour. I know you must be thinking, John, if I don't learn these words, I'll lose my job or my friends. But let me tell you a secret. Most people are just faking it. They use big words to look smart, but deep down, they are just as confused by the pace of change as we are.
That is so true. I remember attending a digital seminar last month. Someone mentioned algorithmic burnout, and the whole room just went silent. Nobody wanted to admit they had no clue what it was. I decided to be the brave one. I interrupted and said, "Hey, explain it in simple language, please." And you wouldn't believe it. Half the people in the room breathed a visible sigh of relief.
Wow, you actually did that? That takes a lot of guts. But that's the tool right there. Instead of overthinking and staying quiet, just ask. I failed miserably at this for years. I used to pretend I understood everything, and it led to so many misunderstandings. Now, I just use my favorite reaction words. If someone says something complex, I just go, "Interesting. Tell me more." It gives me time to process without feeling like a failure.
That's a brilliant tip, John. Using reaction words like, "I see," "That's a new perspective," or "Right, I get you," keeps the conversation flowing. It stops that awkward silence that makes us feel so small. It's about keeping the connection alive. We aren't here to be walking dictionaries. We are here to be humans who happen to be speaking English.
Right. And let's be honest, the English we learned in school didn't prepare us for 2026. My old textbook had chapters on how to write a letter to the postmaster. I haven't seen a postmaster in 5 years. Everything is digital now. So, if you feel left behind, it's not because you are a slow learner. It's because the material you were taught is literally from a different century.
So true! I want to ask our listeners something. Have you ever felt like your English is too old for the current year? Maybe you used a phrase that made a younger person look at you funny? Tell us about it in the comments. I think you should give your opinion because it helps others realize they aren't the only ones feeling this way. We're building a community here, not a classroom.
And speaking of community, I've noticed that the more we worry about being perfect, the less we actually communicate. Perfectionism is just a fancy word for fear. It's the fear of being judged. But in 2026, things move so fast that people don't have time to judge your grammar. They just want the information. If you give them the information with a smile and a few simple sentences, you've won.
I really want to emphasize that. Progress over perfection. Every time you open your mouth and say a sentence, you are winning. You are not left behind as long as you are still moving. Even if you are crawling, you are ahead of the person who gave up and stayed quiet.
I love that. If you're moving, you're not behind. I'm going to write that down. By the way, stay tuned because in the next part, we are going to dive into some ready phrases. These are like emergency kits for your brain when you feel that panic rising during a conversation.
Oh, I love the emergency kit idea. It's like having a life jacket when you feel like you're drowning in a sea of new English words. We'll get into that right after this. All right, let's get into that emergency kit we mentioned. When the world is moving fast and you feel that wave of panic, maybe you're in a Zoom call or at a tech-themed dinner, you need phrases that are already loaded in your brain. You don't have time to build a long, complex sentence from scratch. You need something ready to go.
Exactly. I call these survival anchors. They keep you from drifting away in the conversation. For example, if someone starts talking about a new software or a 2026 trend you don't understand, instead of freezing, just say, "That's a lot to take in. How does that affect our daily routine?" See? You used simple English to put the ball back in their court.
That is a great one, John. My favorite is, I'm still getting up to speed with this. Could you break it down for me? It's honest, it's professional, and it actually makes the other person feel good because they get to explain something. People love feeling like experts, so let them talk while you take a mental break.
Wow, that's a power move, Maria. I actually used that last week when someone was explaining carbon neutral logistics. I had no idea what they meant, but I just said, "I'm still getting up to speed," and they spent the next 10 minutes explaining it. I didn't have to say another word. I felt so smart just by listening.
Exactly. And remember our rule from earlier. Use short, simple sentences. You don't need to explain your whole life story. If someone asks you a tough question, just answer with, "That's a complex topic. Let me think about that and get back to you." Boom! You've saved yourself from overthinking, and you've kept your dignity.
I know you must be thinking, but John, won't they think I'm not smart? No. In 2026, everyone is overwhelmed. Being the person who asks for clarity is actually a sign of confidence. I failed miserably when I tried to use big words I didn't understand. I once told a client our project was flammable instead of flexible. It was a disaster. We all laugh about it now, but at that moment, I wanted to disappear.
Oh, John, flammable? That is definitely one way to heat up a meeting. But that's the point. When we try too hard to look modern, we make silly mistakes. If you just stick to your ready phrases, you stay safe. Another great one for your kid is, could you repeat that? I want to make sure I've got the details right. It sounds so polished and confident.
It really does. And hey, I want to ask you guys a quick question. What is one English phrase that has saved you in a difficult situation? Maybe it's just, "Excuse me," or "Can you help me?" Drop it in the comments. I think you should give your opinion because your survival phrase might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.
That's a lovely idea. We are all sharing our tools here. Now, let's talk about that inner voice. This is the most important part of the kit. When you feel left behind, your inner voice starts whispering, "You're too slow. Your English is old. You'll never catch up." You have to stop that voice immediately. Replace it with, "I am learning at my own pace, and that is enough."
Right. Progress is personal. You aren't competing with a 2026 robot or a native speaker. You are only competing with the version of yourself from yesterday. If you learned one new phrase today, you are winning. It's all about these small mindset shifts. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your own growth.
So true. And don't forget, we have a challenge for you today. Just one real sentence. Whether it's in a comment below, or to a colleague, or even just saying it out loud to yourself in the mirror. Just one sentence to prove to yourself that you are still in the game. You are not left behind. You are right here with us.
Well said. I'm feeling more confident just listening to you, Maria. We're almost at the end of our episode, and I haven't forgotten about that special secret I promised. We're going to reveal that in the final part, along with a quick summary of everything we've talked about today. You don't want to miss this last bit.
I'm excited. Let's wrap this up and get to the finish line together. All right, we have reached the final stretch. It's been such a deep and honest conversation today. John, I think we've really peeled back the layers of why 2026 feels so intimidating. But I know everyone is waiting for that one thing, the special secret you promised earlier. The one that helps you stop feeling like a dinosaur in this high-tech world. Are you ready to share it?
I am, and honestly, it's so simple that most people overlook it. The secret to never feeling left behind in 2026 isn't about learning more English, it's about owning your story. When you find yourself in a room full of people talking about things you don't understand, don't try to hide. Instead, lead with your curiosity.
Lead with your curiosity. I love the sound of that. But how does that look in real life?
It looks like this. Instead of thinking, I don't know this, so I'm a failure, you think, I don't know this, so I have a great question to ask. When you ask a question in English, you aren't showing weakness. You are taking control of the conversation. My secret weapon is the phrase, "That's fascinating. I've never looked at it that way. How did you first learn about it?" Suddenly, they are doing all the talking, and you are the one leading the interaction. You aren't behind anymore. You are the one in charge.
Wow, that is such a powerful mindset shift. You aren't a student struggling to keep up. You're an explorer discovering a new world. That takes all the pressure off. I love it. So, for everyone listening, that is your master key. Use your English to be curious, not just to be correct.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, let's quickly revisit the tools we shared today so you can walk away feeling ready. First, we talked about the power of short sentences. Don't build skyscrapers when a simple house will do. Second, use reaction words like wow or I see to keep the rhythm going. And third, use your emergency kit of ready-made phrases like I'm still getting up to speed.
And most importantly, remember that your inner voice needs to be your best friend, not your harshest critic. If you feel like you failed miserably today, remember John's black water story. We all have those moments. They don't define your intelligence. They just make for great stories later.
Exactly. If I can survive the black water incident and still be here talking to you, then you can survive anything 2026 throws at you. I know you must be thinking, can I really do this? Yes, you can. You are already doing it just by being here and listening to this. That is progress.
So, here is our final call to action. We want you to go to the comments right now and type one sentence. I am moving at my own pace. That's it. Just one sentence to claim your space in this world. And if you found this episode helpful, join our community. Subscribe and share this with a friend who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed too.
I think so. You should really give your opinion because we read every single comment. It makes us feel like we're sitting in a room with you, having a coffee. Also, if you're wondering what to watch next, we have a great video coming up about how to stay motivated when progress feels slow. It's the perfect follow-up to today's talk.
I can't wait for that one. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It is a gift to be part of your English journey. Don't let the speed of the world scare you. You have a voice, you have a story, and the world needs to hear it, even if it's in simple English.
Well said, Maria. Until next time, keep speaking, keep curious, and remember, you aren't left behind. You are exactly where you need to be. See you in the next one.
Bye, everyone!